Hi guys, so we've got some exciting news for you. As you know, those canners of us amongst us, there are rarely any earth-shattering changes that happen in the canning world. However, an old style of canning, steam canning, or atmospheric steam canning, has now been approved by the extension services, and a couple models of steam canners have been approved to use with high acid food. So anything you can water bath, you can now steam can. And this is awesome for a number of reasons. So they recommend two different styles of steam canners. I'll link them below. One is called the Back to Basics model, which looks like remember those old like aluminum cake stands your mom used to have, but she'd take it over to the neighbors, when they have a buffet or something, and then she'd pull the top off. And so the top was really tall and the bottom was pretty flat. That's one style. I've gone with the Harvest multi-use canner because it can function as a stock pot, as a regular water bath canner, and as a steam canner. But first I want to show you an old style steam canner you may have seen from time to time. My mother-in-law got me this steam canner just as a conversation piece. It's an old style steam canner. You put the water here in the bottom in the copper area, and then it has, oops, let me get two hands here, a couple shelves in there. She also printed out the manual to use it. So the water would go on the bottom. You'd have two shelves here. You could put your mason jars on with kind of a domed top to recollect some of the condensation so you weren't bubbling all the water away. And then there was a release over here so steam could come out and you could see when it was ready to use. Super lightweight, easy to pick up and move. Some people still actually use this, the Conservo. This is like World War I, right around that era. But it's good to see an old school kind of canner come back. Looks like this was patented in 1907. That doesn't mean this is 1907, but that's when this style was patented. But let's get back to the new steam canner. Alright, so let's review this one, the Harvest multi-use steam canner. In my opinion, this is the better choice because it does more stuff. So as you can see, with steam canning, you've got your jars in here, eight pints or 7 quarts. You only have to put like 3 or 4 inches of water in there. When you're using a regular water bath canner, you put your hot fluid in your hot product in hot jars and you put it in pretty hot water, but it's not boiling yet. Then you lower it all in there, and then you've got to wait to come to temperature, right? So the food is cooking in there while this is getting up to 212 degrees Fahrenheit, which is really a bummer. So this way, the water comes up much faster. Now, there are a couple limits. The size. You cannot double stack in this, and you can't go longer than 45 minutes. Anything that needs to be water bathed or steamed for 45 minutes or more than 45 minutes, it's just too much time, and the canner will run dry. So that's why they don't recommend it. Plus, it's a 20-quart stock pot. I've used it several times, and there's a little warranty here. I'm not getting paid for this or anything. I paid for this with my own money. I just love it. I've only used it once, but we're going to use it again here shortly. So how can you use it? So you'll see it's got this little dial, which is in the top of the lid. Now you're going to need your glasses to read that sucker, but once you know the color scheme, you won't have to read the words. You'll just know the color scheme. So you wait for it to get into the green zone. Zone 1 is 0 to 3,000 feet of altitude. Zone 2 is 3,000 to 6,000. Zone 3 is 6,000 to 9,000, I think. So when it gets into the green, dark green is my zone, then that's when I start timing. So that's pretty easy to do. So again, the amount of water that you put in here is minuscule. So you've got the rack. This is something that's familiar to us, right? The rack. So if you're water bath canning, you put it in just like normal, but if you're steam canning, you just turn the rack over. And that's how much water you put in. So let's pop that in here. And take a look at that. So I just put my jars right on there. I only need that much water, like that much water, and then the rest of it will be steam. So I start timing when the dial gets into my zone, but I'll also see steam freely coming from these two vents. It's just that easy. Anything you can water bath can, you can now steam can. I'm going to put my source information down below because you should never believe anything that any rando person tells you on YouTube, ever. Never, ever, ever. The only other issue I see with this canner is that the dial is up here, and I'm here. I'm almost 5'10" in shoes. I can't read the top of this thing. I actually had to get a step stool out so I could bend over and look at it. I guess I could turn my camera on and look at it that way. With steam flowing out of here, it's kind of hard to see. So if you're, geez, less than six feet tall, you may need a little helper. But otherwise, so super cool. I'm in love with it. Let's see how it works. This was about $100. The Back to Basics canners, the aluminum ones with just the top that are only steam canners, I think they're like $59 or something if you wanted to give that a try. So anyway, I am going to can up some homemade sauerkraut. It's just ready. It's just finished sauerkrauting, so I just tasted some. I'm going to can that in the steam canner and take you along for the ride, but that's going to be a different video. So stay tuned. Check out the information on the atmospheric steam canners or a steam canner. And oh, one other thing. People are asking, can I just take my water bath canner and make it into a steam canner? Yeah. The USDA is not recommending that, neither are the extension services. Unless you have a really good way to monitor the temperature and you can have a top with holes that the steam is freely coming out of, I wouldn't do it. But, you know, your kitchen, your rules, right? So anyway, let me know if you have any questions. I'll try to answer what I can about the new canner. And yeah, let's check it out. We are going to can up some sauerkraut, so let's get to it.